Welcome back to Bible and Culture. I'm Dr. Armstrong, and I'm here to go through 25 more Hebrew vocabulary words with you. This is just kind of a down and dirty quick vocab video. Please check out my more polished content. That's where I put a lot more time and effort into. This is just a quick video that I'm using to supplement my Hebrew language class that I teach, and I make it available to the public. If it's useful to anybody else, feel free to subscribe and like, and let me know that you enjoy it. Thank you very much. Let's jump in right now with the 51st most common word in the Bible, which is kara, to call. And to write this, let's clear this one off. To write this, you're going to have a kof, boom, resh, aleph, kara, to call. Kara, to call. You can always think about you met someone named Kara. I can't wait to call her up, bro, or something like that. Maybe kara, to call. Mikra, the word in Hebrew, later Hebrew, that's used of the Bible, is mikra, something that is read. To call and to read is the same word in Hebrew, because you read out loud. Reading is performed in the ancient world. And so kara is to call or to read. Mikra is something that is read. Number 52, shalach. Shin, lamed, chet. Shalach. This is to send. And whenever I think of this word, I always think about Barack Obama's midterm elections. Actually, just after his initial election, I believe it was. So it was midterm elections for the Congress in between Obama's two elections. And the Democrats got destroyed that night. And Barack Obama, he got up the next morning and he said, give me a press conference. And he went into the microphone and he said, I got the message you sent through that shellacking that you gave us last night. And I'm going to make some changes. Shalach is to send. Shalach, to send a message. This always shellacking. The whole, every news organization was talking about the shellacking. Shellac. I was like, is that even a word in English? I don't know, but shalach is to send. All right, maybe that'll help you remember. 53, mot. Mot is, we'll say it like this, like there's a cholam above the vav, like that. Mot is to die. You won't always see it like this. You won't see it like this very often, actually, but verb forms, we'll deal with that later. But mot is to die. There's a god of death named Mot in the ancient world, Mot, and Mot is to die. So to write this, you're going to say mem, vav, tav, Mot, to die, Mot. Maybe you can think about mortals, you mortals, die. All right, 54, sham. To write this, you're going to say shin, mem. Sham means there. Sham, there, sham, there. Don't get this mixed up with shem, which means name. Up here, they look alike, shem and sham. You can think about them together. The shem, there's a name. Shem, there's a name. Shem, that's what it means. Shem, there's a name. Sham is name. If you remember that, Shem, there's a name, then the context will help you remember which is which until you get a handle on Sham being there and Shem being name. Achal, to eat. Ochel is food. Achal is the verb, to eat. And to write this, you're going to say aleph, kaf, lamed. I always remember this by thinking, I want to eat achal. For whatever reason, somebody told me that when I was first learning, and I never forgot it. Number 56, eved. Eved is a servant. Eved. And this can be all different kinds of servants. You can serve the Lord, be a servant of the Lord, just like in English. To serve the gods, avad, in the verb form. Eved, the priest is serving in the temple. You could translate this minister sometimes, to serve somebody, to minister to somebody, something like that. Eved, avad, minister for the gods. so minister for God. Eved. Job is called my servant. God, Hashem calls God my servant. Eved is servant. Eved. Obed-Edom in 2 Samuel 6. Obed-Edom is a servant of Edom. The servant of could be, if you switch the vowels around, could be the servant of humanity. Obed-Edom, one who is serving Edom, or one who is serving maybe mankind, humanity. Sorry for the. Let me cut that out. Let's start over with Eved. Number 56, Eved. To write this, you're going to say Ayin, Bet, Dalet. This is Eved, and this means a servant. And this is all kinds of servants. You serve God, you serve the gods, you serve in the temple, you serve somebody food. These are all different kinds of like when you come up to a king, you say your servant is here. When you pray to God, you say your servant says hello. This is Eved. All different kinds of servants. In 2 Samuel 6, Obed-Edom, the servant of humanity, is literally the guy's name that was housing the Ark of the Covenant for a little while. And this is Eved. Eved is servant. Number 57, Ain. Usually you're going to see it written as Ain, and that means there is not. There are a couple of negators. We had one last week, or a couple weeks ago. We had one. Lo means no. En also means no. And this is, let's write it out first. En. To write this, you're going to say Aleph, Yod, Nun. En. And usually you're going to see it like this. En. If you say En Anashim, there are no people. En Anashim. En Zahav, there is no gold. En Zahav, there is no gold. Something like this. All right, this is En. It means there is not. And the best translation is actually in Spanish, where you say no hay, no hay. There is no. In Spanish, you have I and no hay. In Hebrew, you have yesh and en. Yesh and en. So en means no hay, there is not. I don't think have we had yesh? We might have had yesh. Anyway, maybe I should put both of those on there, but that's all right. Okay, number 58. Ken. And this means thus. And to write it, we're going to say Kaf, Nun, Ken. Thus. Thus you write it. Kenani katafti. In modern Hebrew it's used of yes, an affirmative response. But Ken, thus, that's Ken. You can always think about thus says Ken and Barbie. Ken. All right, number 59. Isha. Isha means woman. To write it, you're going to say Aleph, Shin, Hey. Isha. The Shin is doubled. The little dagesh, the dot in the Shin means that it's doubled. Shin it's doubled. There was historically a noon that dropped out. But Isha, this is a woman. You can always think about Ish, man. Ish one, so Ish is man. Ish, man, has a yod there. Isha doesn't have a yod, it has a dagesh instead. You can think about Ish, man, and Isha woman. I don't know. Just remember the feminine ending. The ah sound at the end is the typical of a feminine ending. So if you see Isha, it's going to be a woman. Okay. Gam means also. Gam, to write this, you're going to say Ftink, Bam, Gam. Gimel, Mem, Gam. Also, so you can just think about this is also gumming up the works. Maybe something like that. 61, Nefesh. So this says soul. Self is probably a better translation. Soul, historically, it was like your breath, your nefesh, which is almost feels almost kind of an onomatopoeia, right? Nefesh. But nefesh, you talk to your nefesh, you talk to yourself, talk to your soul. The reason why soul, nowadays a lot of people are trying to get away from the use of soul is because the word carries a lot of Greek connotations to it nowadays. In the Bible, this was before Greek philosophy had really Hellenized a lot of religious thought. So soul, it could be soul or self, nefesh. To write this, you're gonna say nun, pe, shin, nefesh, shin, nefesh, self, nefesh. I think I've thought of a funny way to remember that, but I can't think of it all of a sudden. Cohen is priest. Number 62, Cohen. Cohen, to write this, you're going to say kaf, hey, nun, Cohen. Cohen, if you know anybody, Cohen is a very common last name. If you know anybody named Cohen, maybe they came from the tribe of Levi. Cohen is priest, a very common Jewish last name, Cohen. The Cohen brothers, they made Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? They made a lot of great flicks. Go watch some of their movies. 63, ele means these. Ele, these. So we have Aleph, Lamed, Hey. Ele. Ele means these. Ele. Ele. Allah ele. Allah ele. All of these things. Allah ele. All these things. Okay. So we have ele as these. And then the singular, which we've talked about before, is ze or zot. Ze is masculine, this, feminine, this, and then these. It's used for masculine and feminine. Ata is you. And I don't have any good way to remember this. Ata. Ata. You'll get used to it. Ani, ata. Ani, ata. Ani, ata. There we go. So to write this, we're going to say Aleph, Tav, Hey, Ata. Ata, you. Ata. Ata, you. Ata, you. Anyway, 65. Al is not. To write this, you're going to say Aleph, Lamed, Al. That means not. And this is usually probably don't is a better translation. This is usually used to negate imperatives. So thou shalt not. Every time you see thou shalt not, it's talking about al. Al tegidli, don't tell me. Al. So al means don't. A little bit we call it modal when there's a little desire involved. So it's not just not. It's not like a statement of facts. It's a little bit of a mood, a little bit of a modal sense to it. Then we have number 66. Derech is way or path. Derech. To write this, you're going to say Dalet, Resh, Kaf. Derech. Derech is a path. If you know anybody named Derek, that's the way to remember it. Number 67. Echad. Echad is one. To write this, you're going to say Aleph, Dalet. Sorry, losing my mind here. Aleph, Chet, Dalet. Echad. Echad is one. I thought of a way to remember this. I can't think of it now. Echad. Echad. Shtaim. Echad, Shtaim, Shalosh. Echad is one. Arabic, Wahad. Wahad. Anyway, okay. 68. Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim means Egypt. And to write this, you're going to say Mem, Tzadeh, Resh, Yod, Mem. Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim. The word tsar is like strife or trouble. And there's probably some place where there's a word play there where the trouble that we had in Mitzrayim, because Mitzrayim is remembered as the place of the Exodus. Mitzrayim is Egypt. And it's a dual ending, so when you see the ayim like this, that means two of them. that's usually used of body parts, sometimes time. Yamaim is 2 days. Shnataim is 2 years. Mitzrayim, for whatever reason, it's a dual. Number 69. Nasa, to lift up. Nun, sin, aleph. And you can remember, sin is never right. The sin dot is on the left. Nasa, we put in the little vowels down there. Nasa is to lift up. And you can remember this, like NASA lifts up rockets into the air. Number 70, ach is brother. You can always just think about, oh, brother. Ach, brother. Ach, brother. Ach, brother. To write this, you're going to say aleph, chet. Aleph, chet. All right. Number 71, kum is to rise up. And to write this, you're going to say kof, vav, mem, kum, to rise up. And I can't think of a clean way to remember this. Sorry. Number 72, achrei. Achrei means after. Number 72, to write this, you're going to say aleph, chet, resh, yod. Achrei, which is after. Achrei. Achar is after. Achar, achrei. I always think about after achar. After a car, you're sitting in traffic. You're going to get there late. Ani me'acher is to be late. The verb form is to be late because I'm after a car. After a car. So maybe that'll help you remember. Number 73, rosh. Rosh. This means head. To write this, you're going to say resh, aleph, shin. This is a rosh. This is head. This is like a head, like a human head, but it can also be like a place. So just like in English, you have the head of the waters, the head of like the starting point at the head of the race. It can also be time, ahead of time, like in English. Just like in English, merosh is ahead of the when it happens. And also in place, ahead, merosh, in place. Bereshit, the word rashit, the beginning, comes from this root. In the very first word of the Bible, Bereshit, comes from this root. Rosh, you can remember because of Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, the start of the year, Rosh Hashanah. Rosh. And there we go, my friends. Next, zot. Zot is this, and this is the feminine this. And to write this, we're going to say zayin, aleph, tav, with a little cholam up there. Zot. Zot is this. 75, lev. Lev means heart, because I love you from my heart. Lev. To write this is going to be lamed bet. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week with the next 25 words. Dr. Armstrong out.